welcome to my channel. My name is Andrea Odwobi Teke, and of course, this is the self-discovery series. Yeah, I know I took a pause. Trust me, it was for a reason. You see, being a new mom is not a walk in the park. Trust me, you know they say you have to be prepared for it, you have to be ready for it. Truth is, yeah, you have to be ready for it mentally, but you can't exactly be ready for what a child has got or what they're coming with. The truth is, they come with their own package, and it is in the process you get to learn how to nurture them, how to take care of them, and it is not it is not an easy journey. It's a new life that I found myself in, and it has been a fun ride. Oh, it is a fun ride. It is also one where if you don't get strong minds, I'm sorry for you. So quick story before we go into what today's episode is about. So my baby went for his immunization, and they usually give them that immunization in their laps. Yeah. So my baby had his, and we got home. He was still jumpy, excited, happy, and I was like, yo, thank God. This time around, he did not cry so hard or cry so much. And at night, my goodness, I panicked my life out. My baby was running high temperature. He was restless. He could not sleep. I don't know, maybe the person who gave him the injection has the, because they usually say you have bad hand. You have bad hand to affect the child. Well, anyways, it was one very tough moment for me, and it made me just sit inward and tell myself I have to be more available for this boy. I have to be there for him. I have to sacrifice a lot of things to actually stay with him, nurture him, pamper him, take good care of him. And he is happy now. I think he has even forgotten that he had his immunization or he had a pain on his lap. But away from it. Today on the self-discovery series, I want to share with you something that you would need to, you absolutely need to carry out. You have to take this exercise. If you really are serious about discovering yourself, you need to get to that point where you would, take a pause and ask yourself some questions. So today I want to be sharing with you the self-discovery questions. Questions that you have to pause, just like I said earlier, and ask yourself. Questions like, who am I? So yeah, we'll get into that in just a moment. Just stay with me and we'll be right back.
The self-discovery series will be back in a moment.
Welcome back. This is the self-discovery series. So if you are new here, oh my goodness, welcome. And I'm hoping that you subscribe, okay? And also turn on your notification bell just so that when I drop a video next, you would have a notification. All right. So this has been a message on my lips for quite some time. And I just thought to myself, how about you start putting it on your YouTube channel so that people can have access to it? So that's why we are here. So today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you questions, the self-discovery questions, questions that you have to ask yourself at some point when you are starting the journey to self-discovery. These are questions you need to ask yourself. They are simple yet complicated questions. They're questions that you might not have answers to at a go. Self-discovery is a process, is a journey. So you might not exactly have answers to these questions just yet. But as you progress in the journey, you will start having answers to these questions. And then when someone asks you, who are you? You would definitely have something to tell them. Now, these questions, some of them I asked myself when I started this journey to self-discovery. On one of the episodes, I think I'm going to also share with you my story on of how I started, how it dawned on me that I needed to know myself. A lot of people are struggling with this, but hey, it is not a crime that you haven't exactly understood who you are, or you haven't exactly known who you are, or you don't exactly have a conviction about who you are. It's a process. But hey, you need to wake up first to that consciousness of, the self-discovery itself. All right? So first of all, the first question I asked myself was, who am I? So that's the question you have to ask yourself. Who are you? It is a simple question, but it's also very complicated. It's got depth. And it's like I said earlier, it's okay if you don't have an answer to it just yet. It is very okay. But you see, it makes you want to strive to knowing who you are. It makes you conscious. Okay, so who am I actually? So another question I asked was, what are my values? What are your values? That's the question you have to answer. It's a question you have to ask yourself as well. What are your values? Okay? Another question I asked myself, what value can I and have I added to myself and to the people around me? I'll take that again. What value can I and have I added to myself and to the people around me? Another question, what principles do I live by? You also would want to ask yourself that. What principles do you live by? All right? Another question is, are there areas of my life that I need to improve on? Now, I think that was our second episode, which is self-discovery and self-development. I mentioned that while we are undergoing the journey of self-discovery, where we've started asking ourselves questions or starting the process of getting to know yourself, there are things you start to realize or to notice about yourself. You're not exactly perfect. There are character flaws, there are weaknesses, there are things about you that you feel that you can be better in. You can be a better person. Now, this is a question I had to ask myself. Am I being the best version of myself? That's another question you also need to ask yourself. Are you the best version of yourself? Are you, what area, are there areas in your life that you need to improve on? That's the question also, a self-discovery question that you need to ask yourself. I asked myself that question. All right, so another question here says, what kind of personality do I carry? In our very first episode, I think I asked myself that question, or I asked you that question. I put it out there that there's a question you have to ask yourself. What personality do you carry? Now, there are several personality tests that you can do. If you want to answer that question, now you can just go straight out to it. If you want more about this, you should check out our first episode. All right. So these questions I just read out are questions I personally asked myself. Now, I went on a research on self-discovery, and I found several other self-discovery questions that, for myself, it wasn't exactly so easy for me to answer. And just like I said earlier, it is very okay if you do not have answers to these questions just yet. But they wake you up to actually looking for answers. All right. So the first question here on this particular research that I did, the self-discovery questions, the first question here says, what 3 words describe me best? Now you want to take a pause and ask yourself, what 3 words describe you best? Are you thinking already? All right. Another question here says, what are the important things in my life? What are the things that I hold dear? What are the things that are so dear to me? That's the question you need to ask yourself. I have answers to these first 2 questions. If you want me to share that with you, you have to meet me on a personal level. All right, so another question here says, what values are important to me? What values are important to me? Remember that one of the questions I asked myself was, what are my values? Now, this research here is also asking this question. What values are important to me? You need to also ask yourself that question. What values are important to you? Another question here says, what does my ideal life look like? What does your perfect life look like? What does your good life look like? What does your ideal life? What does it look like? Ask yourself that. So another question here says, what is my biggest regret? What is my biggest regret? What is that thing that I regret so much? Think about it. All right, so another here says, what are my favorite memories? Another here says, what makes those memories so good? Another here says, what's holding me back in life right now? Jeez. So what is holding you back in life? What is that thing that you feel has been stalling your progress? You feel that you have been stuck because of this particular fact. Now, you might not exactly know what that is, but remember that I said that it is a process. This question will put you on your toes to finding answers. Now you become conscious of yourself. What is actually stopping me from writing that book? What is actually stopping me from moving from point A to point B? What is making me act the way I do, stopping me from progressing in life? Now, you have to ponder, you start asking yourself questions. And when you do that consistently, trust me, the answer would come. Remember, I said all these are questions that put you on your toe. It makes you conscious to finding answers to these questions. It is a self-discovery question. All right, so another here says, what is your biggest strength? Wow. What is your biggest strength? So my strength, I think, my biggest strength would be the ability to be my happy self, even in the most down times. I'm one who can be happy. I really feel depressed. I really feel sad. You hardly see me go through very down time, always crying, always moody. If I am moody, then there's a problem. But I'm rarely moody. I'm always just a happy kid. And that also helps me to go through the toughest times swiftly, being effortlessly, being happy and being excited with it, So I think that's a strength. Yeah, and that should be my biggest as well. So what's yours? All right, so here it goes. What allowed you reach this point in life? More like the opposite of what has kept you, the opposite of the question that says, what is holding you back in life? I don't know. But here, this question here says, what allowed you to reach this point in life? What allowed you to reach this point in life? Yeah, I'm asking you. All right, so let's move to another question. What makes a life good? More like asking the question again that says, what is your ideal life? Yeah, so what makes a life good? Another question here says, am I happy with my life? Are you happy with your life? That's a question you have to sit, take a pause and ask yourself, am I happy with my life? It is a deep question, right? Are you happy? Another question is, what do I admire about myself? Now, our second episode, we talked about self-love and self-discovery. And I mentioned that you have to write out your best qualities if you want to be, love yourself more. Now, this is also saying that you have to also ask yourself, what do you admire about yourself? Now, what is it about yourself that you admire so much that you look into the mirror and you're like, what, girl? Or it might not exactly be a physical attribute. It might be something else about you that you admire so much. Now, what is that thing that you admire so dearly? Ask yourself that. All right, so another question here, which happens to be the last, says, when am I most happy? When are you most happy? Is it when you're around family? Is it when you're doing that thing that you love to do? Is it when you're with your significant other? Is it when you are, tell me. When are you most happy? Now, these questions and many other questions you get to ask yourself if you actually want to start the journey to self-discovery, or if you are already in the process of self-discovery. Now, what these questions will do to you, they would help you become conscious of yourself. You start to ask yourself series of questions. Now, the best way for you to do all of these things and get answers to it is when you do a lot of meditating. In another episode, I will share with you how to meditate. But hey, you have to take time. I always talk about me time. Me time are very important. Now, when you're having me times, it helps you stay grounded with yourself. It helps you stay, it helps you to become conscious. I'll put it that way. I use the word conscious. It makes you mindful. It is another thing you have to also really know how to do is to practice mindfulness. All right. So these are things you would have to eventually do if you want to actually know yourself. All right. So I think that we'll call it a day. All right, it has been a fun time on this episode. I hope that it has been helpful. So if it has, please do let me know in the comment section. And also do not forget to like, and you can also share with your friends. Yeah, because this is really helpful, right? It's a gift that you can give your friend if it's a friend that you actually love. What else? You can follow me on my socials as well. Yeah, so we can continue the conversation. You can send me a DM if you want to have a one-on-one with me. Also, what else? Yeah, subscribe, please. If you're new here, please, after watching the video, subscribe. And so that we can have fun together on this series. For now, thank you so much for watching. Bye.